these are some examples of things you could find in your home that might do what you're looking to do. That doesn't mean these are good choices. It just means that they might be available. So, we spoke yesterday, we spoke last time about little woodshop students back in Egypt a few thousand years ago, made projects for the Pharaoh. They lasted forever. They lasted forever because they were coated. They lasted forever because they were in an airtight vault. They lasted forever because there was a limiting action between the water that could join it. Partly because it was in the desert, partly because it was in an airtight crypt, partly because they put oil on it. So if it got a little bit of moisture in there, it was fine. So that's what we're trying to do. I would suggest, if you're not sure, that you do a sample board. This is 3-in-1 oil. That means that it lubricates, it protects, and it does at least one more thing I don't know. But this is just a premium household oil. Don't drink it. Harmful if swallowed. Ugh. So we'll go ahead and we'll put a dot of that right here. This is Watco's Danish oil. And I'm going to tell you not to use any of these. And then we got boiled linseed oil on the back. Boiled linseed. This is a made-up word. We'll get to it in a moment. But I really just want you to kind of understand what the conventional wisdom is versus what I'm going to suggest that you use. So, if we take and put a dot of this on the piece of wood, what you'll find instantly, oops, just going to start right over. Oops. All right, so these are some examples of just household oil, right? I've got a sample board that I've made. This is the 3-in-1 premium household oil. It's just something you might find in the garage. In the garage, you might find some sort of wood finish, right? Very, very suitable for a lot of the stuff we do, this boiled linseed oil. I'm going to say not to use any of this. And the reason I'm going to say not to use any of this, I just put some of this 3-in-1 and it turns the wood yellow. That's all it does, just turns the wood yellow. And if I open up this Watco oil, and take this rag and take just a little bit of it, if I can get it. There it is. Watco oil, I protect the lid, try and get just a little bit. If I take that Watco oil and I put it there, guess what? It just makes it yellow. And if I take the boiled linseed oil, I don't have it out right now, but again, that's mostly boiled linseed oil based anyway, and so it's mostly going to make it yellow. You can't tell the difference between these two, and any color that you see there is from the lint. So, all of that to say that this one is stinky. These ones are not much better, and all of them have things that the Egyptians were missing out on. They are chemical dryers. Oh, here we go. Here's a better example. They are chemical dryers, and those chemical dryers are harmful if swallowed, right? And I would say that if you can't eat it, you probably shouldn't rub it on your bare hands either. That's good measure. So that's the consequence. Probably shouldn't do that. What I'm going to suggest is that you use a food-safe oil. So this is cutting board oil. It's specific for cutting boards. Well, I wonder if the autofocus is on. Nope. And then another version of this is called like canola oil or vegetable oil. And we're just going to put very little on there and just rub it in. I don't want to make a mess on this, so I'm going to put this towel down. I'm going to rub in a little bit. This is just baby oil without perfume, because the main ingredient in baby oil is mineral oil. The next ingredient in baby oil is perfume. So all this is just baby oil. Now, I wouldn't suggest cooking with baby oil because it's made of petroleum, right? Just like that 3-in-1, the cutting, the lubricating, and the protecting oil. But I would go with something au naturel, like coconut oil. Feels very similar in the hand. There are more like heavies in cold pressed olive oil. I don't know that that's better. Extra virgin olive oil feels more like this. Again, vegetable oil. I would stay away from things that are solids at room temperature. So coconut oil, if you put it in your hand, it's not hydrogenated. It needs to be warmed up. Oops, hold on. It needs to be warmed up. But like this oil, you really just rub it into your hands and be done with it. Now, I'm going to touch some electronics and things like that, so I'm going to wash my hands. But I want you to find oils in your house that are safe to eat, because when you get them on your hands, when you get them on the counter, nobody's upset. You spill some coconut oil in the kitchen, you have to clean it up, but no one's losing their mind. You spill some petroleum-based, stinky finish in the house, oh man. Now you've glued your project to the carpet. Right next to that, you've got a big old stain on the carpet, a walnut stain, because you're like, oh, it's for a wood shop. Just go in the garage and dig through the cans. So, let's revisit this idea. I said that this is different. You know that these have different names. But when we look at it, I don't know why this is having such a hard time focusing. When we look at it, is it a different yellow? Or is it like pretty much the same? Same. Okay, so keep it simple, right? I don't know why we would want to complicate this. It doesn't need to be complicated. Don't go out and buy this. I promise, the only reason that I bought it is because it has a container with a label. Okay, when it comes to education and safety, anything you have in a container has to be labeled. You could drink it. I wouldn't drink it. If a cow gets into something that would be dangerous, what do they pour down its throat? Exactly that, mineral oil. How fast does whatever is dangerous in its throat come out of its backside? Very fast. So fast they won't get hurt. I mean, hurt is a perspective, right? I mean, I don't think that I would be comfortable evacuating with mineral oil in that manner. But, hey, cheaper than a dead horse. So, it's safe. The coconut oil is safe. The avocado oil, the extra virgin olive oil, all of these things are safe. All of these things are reasonable. And now the next thing is that we're just going to let it soak in. We'll give it a couple minutes. So let me talk to you about other kinds of oils in your household. Okay. So these oils are ordinarily organized by temperature. And the reason they're organized by temperature is because you're cooking with them. So we'll go over here. I'll share my screen. We'll go visit some oil pages, or I don't know, whatever the cooking channel tells us to do. I've got terrible vision, so I can't see that. Perfect. Go ahead and bring that down. Oh man, I didn't mean to close it. I did close it. Oops. Okay, so we're just going to look up cooking oil temperatures. Awesome, it's in my history. I'm going to go large with this. I'm going to go to images, see if I can find the one that I liked. And there's going to be a whole bunch of oils you ain't never heard of, and we're just going to play the reasonable game and try and make inferences about what you already know and what you've experienced. So this is the one that I liked. It's a little hippy dippy, but it's fine. So it says how to cook with different cooking oils. So let's go down. Oh, it looks delicious. Vegetables. All right, so here's a cooking oil temperature guide. So if you're not going to cook it with heat at all, flax seed oil, which is untreated boiled linseed. I don't know what barrage oil is. I don't think we can talk about hemp oil. My God, please do not put cod liver on your fish. Hey, Mom, it looks like a fish. It smells like a fish. Moving on, low heat. I don't know what a safflower is, but it sounds pretty. I know what a sunflower is. I know what a pumpkin oil is. Those sound familiar. In this classification, baking. So these are probably sweeter oils. You could probably take your palm, rub it on your forehead, and then rub it on your bird. You could rub it in your hair, unless you got real dry hair. You got hair like Castillo. This is good for at least one coat. Okay, perfect. That was a joke. Medium heat, light sauteing. I think that's French. Sesame oil, pistachios are delicious. Hazelnut, I don't know what a hazelnut. Olive oil, I know olive oil. We got high heat, we got coconut oil. Ghee, I believe ghee is the fat in dairy, processed out some way. I don't know about it. I don't know. Palm oil and lard. Now, when we're talking about coconut oil, there's this problem with lard, there's this problem with coconut oil, there's this problem with tallow, right? It's the stuff that grandma puts on the comal or the hot plate or whatever before she cooks the tortillas. You know what I'm talking about? It's that kind of oil, that like Crisco, it's a solid at about 70 degrees. Coconut oil melts at what temperature? So coconut oil melts at like 76 degrees. That means that if you put it in your hand, it will melt. Is your bird as warm as your hand? So it's going to turn back to a solid. So then it's going to be like butter being spread on your bird. Tastes great on bread, terrible on walnut. So I don't know, your mileage may vary. If you can get it in while it's a liquid, then it'd be fine. But if you can't, then it's no go. All right, let's get back to this bird. I'm gonna buff it off. Don't forget about your bird. I would much, much, much rather that you don't let it set for long enough than you let it set for too long. Because some of these oils, if you touch the outside of the plastic container, they're sticky as all get out. And how much soaking in you get is actually not part of the equation. It's how well it dries after. So you want it to dry as thin as possible. You want it to dry as thoroughly as possible. And you want to encourage it to dry by getting all of the excess off. So, you would think that more is better. No. Many more lighter coats is better. And that's because the oil, the name of the game, isn't how many coats. It isn't how much oil, right? You're not going to measure, I put this many ounces of oil in. No. How much time between the last coat? How dry did it get? Can you build up the oil on top of the last coat of oil? So the most important part is actually getting the oil all the way off. I don't know if I did a better job on this one or not. on the camera job. I don't know. I'll have to watch it later and look at it. But that's actually where it's at. We're trying to get this thing bone dry. Where like, I'm gonna wash my hands again so that I can make an example. There should be more grease on your forehead than there is on this bird. So I'm gonna wash my hands. I'm gonna do the compare and check, and then maybe I'll rub it off more. Now, the reason I think you should use food safe cooking oils is the biggest idea right now. Bigger than the question today, bigger than everything else we're gonna talk about, is safety. I really don't want you to burn your house down. And this is really what we're talking about. If you use some of these other professional coatings, they have chemical dryers, and they have chemical dryers because it's the drying that's so important. It's not the oiling, it's the drying. So these guys use chemical dryers because is it the oiling or is it the drying? It's the drying that's so important. Those chemical dryers will cause your project to spawn, not your project, your rags. It'll cause your rags to spontaneously combust. When they combust, where are they? At your house. In the trash, but at your house. So best case scenario, you burn a $250 trash can and someone at home is pissed. Worst case scenario, you burn a $10 trash can in your kitchen. Oh, now your whole house is on fire, right? Yeah, you guys have seen those like Christmas tree fires, right? Okay, it's all bad news. Did you get oil all over the counter too? It's all bad news. So, I ain't ever heard of coconut oil lighting itself on fire. I've heard it of these products that I just showed you. Not the 3-in-1. I've never heard of 3-in-1 doing that. I've never heard of motor oil catching itself on fire. I've seen motor oil on fire. Of course, any sort of petroleum product at some point has a smoking point. These cooking oils are organized by smoke point. So the ones that I'm saying that have a lowest smoke point, well, those would burn lower than the ones that would burn higher. But you would burn the bird before you burned the oil. So I would say use food grade cooking style oils on this. Now you could use baby oil, and I don't think anybody's cooking with baby oil, right? But that's the same kind of oil. And again, it doesn't matter if we're using cutting board oil or Danish oil or 3-in-1 super oil, right? They're all the same now, visually. This guy stinks to the high heavens. This one has chemical dryers in it. And this one, it smells nice. You could probably cook with it.